Start. Good evening. Hi, this is Rob Bell, and you're watching Getting the Record Straight. This is the Truth to Power segment, and welcome. Of course, it's the 25th of May, Memorial Day. It's Monday, and I hope everyone is staying safe but enjoying themselves during this holiday. Please subscribe when you see this video. Take time to do that. Things have been really going well. People are starting to get the message for getting the record straight, and I appreciate all the support you've been giving me. Have a guest today who I'm going to introduce in a matter of seconds. He is running for the United States Senate from New Jersey, and his name is Larry Hamm. I've gotten a chance to meet Larry a couple of times. He doesn't remember though, but it was years ago, and I'm extremely honored that he is going to take the time to talk with us in the midst of an extremely busy schedule, as one could imagine. Larry is a serious activist and a true progressive. He's the real deal as far as I'm concerned. And as I said, he hails from Newark, New Jersey. And actually, I'm not going to really waste too much time running my mouth because Larry has a lot to talk about. Like I said, he's a serious activist. He's the founder of the People's Organization for Progress in Newark, New Jersey. It's an organization for social and economic justice. So without taking much more time, please welcome Larry Hamm. Larry, how you doing?
Good evening, Brother Bell. I'm doing all right. I hope you and your family are safe and that all is well with you.
Well, we're doing okay. My daughter lives in Chicago, and she just gave birth last week to my grandson. So I have two grandchildren now, and hopefully, I actually have a ticket for 2 weeks from now to go to Chicago and see him. So hopefully that'll all go well. My son's here in Philly. And yeah, man, I can't complain. But how are you doing? You're up against the world, man.
You're right. This is definitely a David and Goliath situation, and it's an uphill battle, but we're pushing hard, and things are going well with regard to the campaign. Of course, we're always looking for additional support, but I have actually been surprised at the level and quality of support I have received from the grassroots community. So I am running for the United States Senate. I'm running against the incumbent, Cory Booker, in the Democratic primary. And because of the coronavirus crisis, the Democratic primary in New Jersey was moved, and the new date is now July the 7th. That is the day on which the Democratic primary in New Jersey will take place.
You said the 7th?
Yes.
Okay.
Tuesday, July 7th.
Okay.
So I have roughly about 40 days to go, and I'm going to be pushing real hard for these next 40 days.
Well, look, I want to get into that some more a little bit down the road in terms of this interview. I thought I mentioned, but I'm not sure, that I had met you years ago, and we may be going back 15 years here in Philly. We had organized an event, a project to go to D.C. To demand that our representatives push H.R. 40, House Resolution 40, to study reparations. And I don't remember how we got in touch with you to save my life, but somebody put us in touch with you.
Maybe we met in Washington. Maybe we actually met that day in Washington. Was that the day that they were holding the hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I probably met you there, but I'm saying to get, we were in contact with a lot of different groups to get them to organize people in their own cities and to get buses and to come to DC. So we must have talked or whatever prior to that. But the point I just wanted to raise was when we saw the crew, you guys brought out a whole bunch of people from Newark for that, and I'll never forget that. And I think I told you when we talked recently on the phone that subsequent to that, a guy named Milt McGriff, who I just kind of eulogized not long ago, a few weeks ago. He and I came up to some kind of panel discussion up at Princeton, and Cornell West was there, and you were there, and I got a chance to meet you and talk to you again at that time. So I do have a little bit of history, but I've always admired what you've done and the way you do it and your commitment. And so I just wanted to put that out there again and reinforce the fact that when we talk about activism and progressivism, you are, the embodiment of that, and I really appreciate that. Although I've watched it from afar quite often, but nonetheless, I was really excited to hear that you were running for Senate.
Well, I thank you, and yes, I believe that was when we mobilized people to go to D.C. for one of the congressional committee hearings that was held on H.R. 40. And at that time, which probably was about 15 years ago, I was the chairman of the People's Organization for Progress, and I'm still the chairman of the People's Organization for Progress.
Yeah.
POP, People's Organization for Progress, was founded by myself and other residents from the area in 1983. So
wow.
We will be celebrating the 38th anniversary of our organization in August. POP is an all-volunteer grassroots organization. We fight for racial, social, economic justice and peace. And we're based in Newark, New Jersey, but we have chapters in other cities in New Jersey and even a chapter in New York City. So we're kind of a regional, statewide, regional kind of organization. And POP was not the first organization that I was in. My activism began probably like yours and like many other people in the listening audience, that began in high school. I was kind of pushed to tell you the truth. I didn't come from a political family. I didn't come out of a political community. My folks were just regular folks. But, I ended up being the leader of the student government at Arts High School in 1971 when I was a senior. And we were very concerned about education and educational conditions, and that led us to organize what would be my first walkout march and sit-in in 1971. And that is really when it began. March of 1971. Three months after that sit-in, the first African-American mayor of Newark, Ken Gibson, appointed me at the age of 17 to the Newark Board of Education. And to this date, I believe I'm the youngest full voting school board member. I was not a student representative. I was one of the 9 voting board members. And I was appointed literally 2 weeks after I graduated. On July, I was appointed on July 1st. I was sworn in on July 1st, 1971. And I raised hell on the school board for 3 years. I had been accepted at Princeton University. I actually left Princeton in the fall of my freshman year so I could do my term as a school board member. When those 3 years were up, actually at the end of my school board term, I ran for city council. To this date, I'm probably the youngest person that ever qualified to be a bona fide city council candidate. I ran at the age of 20. And it was unsuccessful, and it was probably good because that led me to return to Princeton University and finish my education. And I graduated from Princeton in 1978. But while I was at Princeton, I was an anti-apartheid activist. In fact, one would say that I was the leader of the anti-apartheid movement on Princeton's campus. We protested for many days, which culminated in a sit-in in 1978, and Princeton divested from some companies that were doing business with the racist apartheid regime. And then I returned to Newark in 1980, got involved at the ground floor, became a district leader. I'm sure that y'all probably call it the same person or precinct captain. Y'all probably call it precinct captain.
No, well, committee people too.
Okay.
You know, I have never really been that involved with kind of community politics. Although, interestingly, not long, a couple of years ago, I served as a chief of staff for a state rep, but that was more kind of an interim emergency type of situation. But nonetheless, during this time, now let me ask you: did you cross paths with Baraka, Mary Baraka? Then
cross paths. He was my mentor.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the father. I'm not talking about the son now.
Right, yeah.
Because when I met Mary Baraka, Roz Baraka was a baby in his mother's arms.
Mm-hmm.
Show you how long ago that was. I'm 66 now.
Yeah.
And I met Baraka literally 2 months after I was appointed to the Newark Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
We had a meeting in one of his headquarters in Newark, and from that point on, we became friends and political allies, and remained so until he passed away, in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a district leader, and then I organized something called the People's Energy Cooperative. I organized 400 families purchase their fuel or their home heating oil collectively instead of separately, and in doing so, they were able to get discounts on the fuel oil and on the service contract. And then after PEC, I organized POP because we wanted something overtly political. We were looking for something that was more potent than what we saw on the political horizon, and that's why we formed People's Organization for Progress. And during these years, I was with POP. Of course, we supported the political campaign, the presidential campaign, Jesse Jackson in 1984 and 88. We organized the chapter Rainbow Coalition in 1987. I also ran for state assembly in 1987. We organized over 100 organizations into something called the Malcolm X Commemoration Coalition to have the first major celebration of Malcolm's birthday in Newark in the late 1980s. And then, of course, I was very involved. I was the state chairman of New Jersey Million Man March Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, really began to buckle down and build People's Organization for Progress. And, a lot of that work was done through police brutality cases. We had a whole lot of police brutality cases in New Jersey. But more recently, in 2016, I supported Bernie Sanders. I was actually one of his delegates from New Jersey to the Democratic National Convention in Philly. I was down there in Philly that whole time. I was like surprised. I was like, well, damn, Wells Fargo got their name on the subway station. I had never seen anything like that before, And but yes, I was the Bernie Sanders delegate in 2016, and then was asked to be state chairman in 2020, in 2019 to be state chairman of this campaign, and that's one of the things that led me to run for U.S. Senate.
Well, let's, Larry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's take a break right now, and then we can come back and get into that in a lot more depth, including your campaign and platform. Hold on.
Okay.